Hattiesburg, and a pleasant day to all of our listeners. This is Cadence, your host for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement today, we have the Mississippi Moments with Helen Rain and a news wrap with Miracle Jennings to ensure you're up to date on all the hottest topics. And guess what? We have a very special guest for you, Mike Pasquarella. You definitely want to stay tuned for what they have to share with us today. But before we jump into all the fun, here's a quick message from our sponsor. So hang tight because we'll be right back with more Southern Miss news.
When a person calls 988, they're connected to a crisis counselor.
Crisis is completely self-defined. If you're wondering if you should call, you should probably call.
A caller can expect to talk about coping skills, talk about resources, and ways to move forward beyond the call.
Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.
This message is brought to you by Contact the Crisis Line, Contact Helpline, Mississippi Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Estos son los sonidos de una cena que casi no sucedió. Es una cena servida gracias a personas como tú. Debido a la crisis actual, 50 millones de personas pueden vivir con hambre este año. Feeding America está ayudando a los que más lo necesitan. Y si quieres, tú puedes ayudar también. Visita feedingamerica.org/en-español. Patrocinado por el Ad Council y Feeding America, la fuerza de 200 bancos de alimentos.
Welcome back. In campus news, the Southern Miss Nurse Anesthesia cohort receives 100% pass rate on national certification exam. The University of Southern Mississippi College of Nursing and Health Professions Nurse Anesthesia Doctoral Program is producing graduates ready for a career as a certified registered nurse anesthesiast. All 23 graduates in the program's December 2024 cohort received a 100% pass rate on the national certification exam. Since 2012, the three-year program has provided clinical experience across the state to each cohort. With the 197 graduates to date, Dr. Story, CNHP Dean, sees the commitment and rigorous steps taken to provide Mississippi with dedicated nurse anesthesiasts. The cohort began their program in January 2022 with rigorous courses and hands-on training that prepared them for the NCE. The exam tests the knowledge and skills of each student studying to become a CRNA. Mary Jane Collins, the Nurse Anesthesia Program Coordinator, is thankful for the university's support in shaping future leaders in anesthesia care. Also in campus news, the Southern Miss School of Leadership welcomes students to experience business casually for career advice and networking opportunities. The University of Southern Mississippi School of Leadership, along with local business professionals, gathered at the third annual Experience Business Casually event held Tuesday on the Gulf Park campus. Students networked with leaders from the business community and received advice and tips on topics to help them get ready for the workforce, including interview strategies, the 60-second elevator pitch, the art of small talk, and more. Students from area community colleges and high schools also attended. Dr. Jacob Brayland, director of the School of Leadership, was excited to collaborate with local schools and offer an event that can help prepare students to be ready for business. Amy Yind, Assistant Dean of Professional Development and Career Success, who has coordinated the program on the Hattiesburg campus for several years, expressed the value of the event. In Hattiesburg news, the community rallies together for the homeless in Hattiesburg. John Robbins has spent over 2 years living on the streets of Hattiesburg. Tyler Jackson has made it his mission to help homeless folks like Robbins, whether it is a warm meal, a place to stay for the night, or just someone to talk to. Jackson began his project as a one-man band, but thanks to Facebook, Jackson has caught the attention of many people from the community who are willing to help. Jackson says most of the people offering a hand are complete strangers, like Gabrielle Jordan. Jordan says she never thought she'd be an asset to the homeless community. Robbins says he was blown away by the people's efforts and feels that the community outreach has brought hope to the streets of Hattiesburg. Jackson says just in the last few months, there have been 3 people that have found permanent housing, 4 families have been reunited, and numerous people have started the process of getting their IDs. In Mississippi news, local organizations are making efforts to combat crime in the capital city in what is known as a dangerous apartment complex. It is the Pine Ridge Gardens Apartments, formerly known as Rebel Woods Apartments. Members of Operation Good are taking back the streets one crime hotspot at a time. After a rash of crimes and gun violence in the area, leaders of the organization say they are now putting their lives on the line so that others can live to see another day. The group is what many would call violence interrupters. Whenever they get calls or learn of crimes happening, they rush to the scene to de-escalate the situation all around Jackson. Recently, members of the group say they were able to prevent and resolve dozens of dangerous crimes from happening through their efforts. That's your news update from Southern Miss Today. Next, we'll have the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277. And the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back with our action-packed sports segment. Let's dive into the latest scores, highlights, and sports. Get your jerseys on, because it's game time. Today, Wednesday, February 19th, the softball team will be playing against Jackson State and the women's basketball team will be playing against South Alabama. On Thursday, February 20th, the men's basketball team will be playing against Coastal Carolina. On Friday, February 21st, the softball team will be playing against Nichols. The women's tennis team will be playing against Southeastern. The beach volleyball team will be playing at the Florida Gulf Coast and against North Alabama. The baseball team will be playing against Louisiana Tech, and the softball team will be playing against LSU. On Saturday, February 22nd, the softball team will be playing against Penn State. The women's basketball team will be playing against Texas State. The baseball team will be playing against Louisiana Tech. The beach volleyball team will be playing against Florida State. And then the men's baseball team will be playing against the Ragin' Cajuns, and the beach volleyball team will be playing against Spring Hill. On Sunday, February 23rd, the men's golf team will be playing at the Dorado Beach Collegiate, and the women's tennis team will be playing against Lamar. Head to southernmiss.com to keep up with all the Golden Eagle sports activities. As for our weather today, look for a low of 32 with a high chance of rain and a high of 50. The feels like for today is 22 to 49. Tomorrow's look for a low of 25 and a high of 42 with a low chance of rain. Tomorrow's feels like is 14 to 38. Up next, we have the Mississippi Moments produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage with Helen Rain. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Helen Rain enrolled in the Natchez public school system in the late 1920s. She describes the dedication of her teachers and how much they were respected by everyone in the community.
In those days, everyone was a bit in awe of the teachers. I guess I had some of the best public school teachers that Natchez has ever had at the time that I was in school. They came to school early. If you were having a problem and could get there early, they would meet you early and go over the problem. They would stay after school. But they were people that you admired, that you had a great deal of respect for them. They were above the children. Nowadays, I think they're probably too close to the children. I don't know, but they had discipline. But they didn't have the behavior. They didn't have the sass, the bad talk, the threats that they do today. In those days, a teacher couldn't be wrong. I mean, she may be wrong, but nobody would ever admit that she was wrong.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Mike Pascarella after a quick break.
What is dedication?
My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night, and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Now, please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you, Cadence?
I'm good. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. My name's Mike Pasquarella, and I'm the Executive Director for Habitat for Humanity of the Pine Belt here locally, and I oversee everything we do at Habitat.
And in case any of our listeners don't know what Habitat for Humanity is, could you explain a little bit about what y'all do?
I can. The big thing that we do is, of course, build houses for low-income families. That is our main mission. Our main goal is to get families to become homeowners in the low-income bracket. The bigger picture is we do a lot more. We help build homeowners. We help them financially with financial literacy. We help them manage their money. We help them become good community citizens and give back to the community.
Yeah, that's really awesome. It's always glad to have a little help for our community. How did you get involved with Habitat for Humanity?
I was in the Army at one time long ago. I got here stationed in Mississippi at Camp Shelby, and I had some extra time on my hand. And I was driving my wife crazy, and she read an article about Habitat building a house here locally and needed volunteers. So I went and signed up and started building a house with some people that was building the house at that time. And I never looked back. I retired out of the Army and got hired at Habitat for Humanity here and have been the construction manager. Now I'm the director, financial manager. So it's just a lot of hats and a lot of fun.
Yeah. How was your journey like coming from like a volunteer to going into position?
I think it was great because I got to learn all the sides of Habitat. Because when I first started, of course, I didn't know much about Habitat besides I like to build. The people that was involved at that time were incredible. I learned so much from volunteers that came and helped build houses, from the site supervisors that were there. I ended up building my own house here in Dixie, and it was just incredible. And starting from there, moving up through the ranks of Habitat, I guess, was eye-opening. And I didn't understand what I was doing until I went to the first dedication, and the family at the dedication said that they would have never had an opportunity to own a home if it wasn't for Habitat. And then it kind of hit me like, wow, I was part of building this house. That's incredible. It was just such a mind-blowing thing that my whole family's been involved in over the years.
Yeah. How could other members of the community get involved with the organization?
We love having volunteers for events, for building, for helping us out at the office. Everything we do is on volunteer basis. We only have 3 employees at Habitat, myself and 2 part-time workers. So for us, volunteers is the way we get things done. And a group coming out helping us makes a huge difference in the speed that they can get it done and the time frame compared to a couple of us that work there. So getting involved with us is easy. Call our office at 601-582-4663 and talk to Shauna Rodriguez. She's our volunteer coordinator, and she will definitely get you on the schedule to come out and do something one way or another with us.
Awesome. I'll have to check that out. I might want to go out.
Yeah, it's amazing how much volunteers learn coming out. We've had women's build in the past. We've had people come out and put in a toilet that was like, wow, I put that toilet in, now I can do it myself.
Yeah.
Put in doors, we
I bet
paint, we do a lot of things.
I bet it gives you a lot of new things to learn while also helping out others in the community.
The self-confidence it gives you when you stand back and you see something that you accomplished during the day, framing the house, or when you drive by years later. And of course, you always have that, I helped build that house.
Do you have a house that you were like, you're always like, oh, I built that?
Oh, there's several of them. I mean, we're on our 73rd house around here, and I've probably been part of building about 60 of them. So
that's very impressive.
Every time I drive around, my kids get to hear I remember building that, I remember building that.
So who is eligible to kind of for the Habitat for Humanity, like to be helped out by them?
Well, we have a pretty lengthy selection process. First of all, you have to be low income, and that's the families that we cater to, just because it's families that they can't go into a bank and say, hey, I want to go buy a home in a traditional loan aspect, because they just don't make enough income to do that mortgage payment. For us, the low-income families that we cater to have to be between 30 and 60% of the median income, and they have to have a 40% or less debt to income, and they have to have the need, which most families in our area have the need, such as living in a crime area, paying too much for rent, just things of that nature, or a house falling down around them. And willingness to partner. Willingness to partner is a big thing for us. They have to have 450 sweat equity hours. They got to come volunteer for those times. They have to save $1,000 down payment. The important thing with our program is that they have to pay a mortgage when they're done. And it's the way we can help low-income families is a zero-interest mortgage. So that fits their income, and we figure that out from up front, so there's no issues later on in the program.
Yeah, I'm sure that really helps out a lot of people.
It does, and the financial classes that we do building up to the house build is things we do way before we even start pounding nails, and that's what really helps our families out.
Yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about the Ramp Up Pine Belt program?
Yes, that got started by a leadership group here, a local leadership group in town, and they raised some money. We, of course, went through that money and built about 12 ramps, and that was great for families that had access problems getting into their house or getting out of their house. Families coming home from the hospital after a major surgery that couldn't get in and out of their house because of steps. So we've built a lot of those ramps, and as we have funds available, we continue to do that in between our house builds.
Yeah. How many do you think y'all have done so far?
Ramps?
Yeah.
We've been doing them for years, but since the ramp program was created, we probably did about 12 either complete ramps or fix some ramps that are already there.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what impact do you believe that the Habitat for Humanity has had on the Hattiesburg and the Pine Belt region?
Huge. I mean, anytime you have a home, you have a healthy place to live, you have the same address to come home to, education goes up because you have your own room to study in, it's healthier environment, safer environment. So the impact does not just say we gave somebody a house or we sold someone a house. It's so much bigger. We've had children come up through our families that gone to college. A family that got a home has 4 graduates here locally, and are giving back teachers, nurses. They're an incredible family. So we see the process of breaking the renting mentality. Those families are out looking for houses now. So it's just a huge impact. And also our families pay property taxes, and we're pushing $500,000 since we started in property taxes going back to the community.
Yeah.
So the money that our families are saving in our Habitat houses gets spent back into the local community. So it's just a cycle of things that keep going back. The mortgage payments they pay us as the mortgage holders goes back into building new houses. So the more mortgages we get, the more houses we build. So it's a revolving door of money for the community.
Yeah, that's definitely good. I like that.
It is.
I've never heard of that kind of system where it's like goes back and like I like that.
They continue to support us by supporting for
the
paying the
community.
mortgage payment. It's a great, and that's one of the reasons I liked it, because we don't give anything away free.
Yeah.
We give a hand up, not a handout, and it's been great for the community, and it's been great for us.
Oh yeah, I bet some people really appreciate the fact that they get those classes that y'all do, like, and then like to build a house too. Like, I feel like that would be a good lesson.
And we've had, and we know it works. We've had families come in that's gone through our education class, and our financial classes, and they just say, you know, you told us to save a little emergency money, and they had something break on their car. So they went and got it fixed, and it didn't run their budget, because low-income families are such a tight budget to start with. So for something to happen outside of your normal budget is just devastating. So to have that little advice of save an emergency fund, use it when you have to, and then it doesn't bother you. And it's worked. We've had many come by the office and tell us that's what we did, and it worked out great.
Are y'all's financial aid classes like available to everybody, or are those just the people?
They're
Okay.
open up to the public when we do them.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't even know that y'all did like financial classes. I thought it was just kind of like just the building homes.
But it happened when I took over as a director, because some of our older families didn't get the opportunity to go through those classes until we opened them up. And it just made a big difference of letting them understand what they're getting into, and make sure it fits them, and it's something they want to do.
Yeah. So do y'all have any goals for the future, such as like a number of homes, like a goal of homes to be built, or like number of volunteers?
We do. Our goal is to have 3 houses built a year on a regular basis, to have them dedicated money coming in for those houses, and that would be great for us. Every affiliate is run different in the United States, and fortunately we lean on the community here locally, and it's always come through. We're getting ready to start our 74th house, so it's proven that it works. We don't count on outside money coming in, which is nowadays is so unpredictable. So for us, our local community giving us donations, having events that we support us in events, the sponsorships, all that is given to us here, and it's spent here. You can see all the money that's given to us spent right into the houses that were being built right here. On any given day, you can go see all 70 houses. They're still around. So it's great to know that all your money given to us is spent here locally for a local cause.
And then do y'all have any events that are coming up?
We do. We have a golf tournament coming up actually March 27th at Timerton. So if anybody wants to put in a team, you can get a hold of us, call our office. We can get you the information. It's our 8th annual golf tournament, and it's been great. We've always, the last several years, we've been full, 50 teams, morning and afternoon. So we're pretty excited about that as usual. And we also have the local sponsorships that support us. We recognize them on everything we have, and it's just great to know that they're given to our own community, which is important to us. And it's the way we build. The more money we have, the more houses we build.
Yeah, and so this could be my last question. What is probably like your favorite memory of working with Habitat for Humanity? Like, do you have any like?
I think one evening we were getting ready for dedication the next day, and we didn't have the sod down around the house yet. So me and my wife and my 2 children, my 2 sons, was out there about 8 o'clock at night, getting dark, putting down sod at night to have it ready for dedication next day. Just seeing my whole family understand the importance of giving and what it means, and how important it is to the families that was getting the house, and it was just that it just fits us.
Yeah, it's like a little bonding moment.
It is. Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and providing insight into Habitat for Humanity.
I was excited to be here. Thank you.
Coming up, we've got Miracle Jennings on dilapidated properties on the Mississippi coast.
Reverend John Whitfield, pastor of Morningstar Baptist Church in Gulfport, calls it a cycle of neglect.
A lot of these properties become the way they are because parents will die, the children will not follow through with probating an estate, back taxes become due, they go unpaid, the properties are then purchased at an auction, or they will lapse back to the state.
Some Mississippi lawmakers say these abandoned properties aren't just eyesores. They create safety risks, lower property values, and weaken local economies. They're pushing for solutions like a $5 million property cleanup revolving fund to help cities cover demolition and maintenance costs, tax credits for developers who restore blighted tax forfeited properties, and an end to the tax sale cycle that keeps properties stuck in legal limbo. Advocates say these measures could help cities clean up abandoned lots faster and make redevelopment easier. I'm Miracle Jennings, reporting for the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We are thankful for Carl Wilson, our audio engineer, Gabby Collier, for our film producer, for keeping this bird soaring. We especially want to thank our program director, Adeline Fields, our booker, Oster Flores, and our general manager, Dr. Martin, as well as our guest today, Mike Pascarella. That's all for today on Southern Miss Radio. Thank you all for listening, and remember, fly, eagle, fly. I'm your host,